You strong.
SeoJoon was still panicking when Minhyul immediately opened the door and ran away. SeoJoon gripped the spear tightly. He was about to rush forward when a weak voice stopped him. You, don't. He stopped. She turned to look. A weak voice said, no, okay. Seeing that, he collapsed and looked at her heartbroken. At this time someone came in to stop. Student Lee Hae-eun, what are you doing? Stop immediately. Then she stopped and looked over with an unconvinced expression. She threw Suyeon aside. He ran to her, Suyeon, and Hae-eun shook her hair and left. He lifted her head up. Her expression was uncomfortable, her hair and face were dirty. He shook her and woke her up, Suyeon. Before leaving, Hae-eun left a sentence that made his face look angry. She was nothing special. Seeing that, she used a little strength to stop him from being angry. He retracted his uncomfortable expression and looked down at her, his voice weak, don't. Later, tears welled up in her eyes. She said, the magicians outside and her friends ran to see her wound. It was because I was not strong enough. After the battle with Lee Hae-eun, the healers came to treat Suyeon's wound. Fortunately, the wound was not serious. As for Lee Hae-eun, he received a light warning for that violent act. Minhyul lay on the injured car, holding her stomach, saying to SeoJoon, I'm sorry, I tried to avenge Suyeon, but I had to give up. Boss, be careful, it's not for nothing that people say she's the strongest. When SeoJoon saw this scene, she couldn't help but want to come out and demand justice. Just now it was Suyeon and now it's Minhyul. It can't be like that. I have to go out and protest myself. SeoJoon stopped her, don't, ignore it. She suddenly turned around and asked him, what's wrong? She continued, why? He hesitated a bit. He said, just leave it alone. She looked at him worriedly. After that, the friendly tournament continued, but I don't remember anything else. Miss SeoJoon's whole face was full of worry. And the number of times I replaced my spear. And also, at this time the announcement sounded, he strode confidently to fight with Hae-eun, student Kim SeoJoon of the Dream Academy. If you are ready, please advance to your position. Hunter Mills Academy student Lee Hae-eun. Hae-eun also moved towards his position. If he is also ready, please move towards his position. Seeing her again, his face was full of confusion. Both of them said nothing. The match that everyone is waiting for is about to begin. On this side, SeoJoon was observing the match. She was waiting nervously. Outside the thick glass layer, there were also 3 student representatives observing the match. And 2 employees stood on the side watching. The scene only left 2 people. He spoke, let me ask her a question. She looked at him with a surprised expression. He asked, is it necessary to do that? She's the most talented of the professional hunters, so perhaps she doesn't understand the indignation of having her future made fun of, both the gloomy reality and the despair. When you try with all your life but can't move forward. He spoke loudly, looking at her with determined eyes, but you know, that desperation is proof of a person's efforts. And she trampled on that effort. He continued to talk. It was not something she could ignore, even if she possessed perfect skills, but she seemed not interested in listening, avoiding his eyes. Hae-eun didn't want to continue listening to him and ask him if he was done talking yet. He scratched his head helplessly. I know, even if I told you, you wouldn't understand. He ignored her words, so he tried it himself. She was surprised. What? With determined eyes looking straight at her, I told her to just do her best. She remembered what she had said and immediately gritted her teeth angrily and did her best. He continued to say that she should also taste that feeling, and, she crossed her arms and looked at him in disbelief. He glared sternly, thinking to himself how terrible it was. She didn't feel scared but just felt ridiculous. It seemed like everyone was praising her a bit, so he thought he was something. Why wasn't he hypocritical when he beat up weak guys to appear here? He was a bit disappointed when she didn't fully understand what he said, probably because her brain wasn't clear yet. At this time, the contest referee stammered and said, you two, are you ready? So let's begin. As soon as Hae-eun entered the fight, he took up a fighting stance. Seizing the opportunity, her eyes looked firmly at him. And he still arrogantly stood still without making a move. She was confused and asked him what he was doing. He just replied, I told you, just use all your moves. She continued, how dare a guy like you pretended to be ignorant and acted to provoke her, why does everyone say the same thing? Hae-eun was so angry that he despised him. She rushed forward and pulled the sword out of its scabbard. He calmly and gently dodged her attack. She swung her sword at him but missed again and again. She glared and gritted her teeth at him. He even pretended to yawn. Taking advantage of his yawn, she used her sword to slash hard. This swing of the sword causes broken rocks to fly away, and the air from the sword swings out into the distance. Seeing that, he approached her and asked seriously, "You haven't used all your strength yet, have you?" Suddenly she backed away. Haeun turns his sword into a green sword, and his power radiates outward, suppressing his opponent. He just stood there looking a little surprised, sword light. She rushed towards him. He thought, if he didn't act, that sword would probably stab him. He only used the spear to block the sword light. The two opposing powers began to spread throughout the room, causing the two employees to panic and shield themselves. The other student representatives were also surprised by both of their abilities. And she tried to resist. "I was being pushed out." His face showed a surprised expression, wondering if he was being pushed out. "Me." He used force to push her away. She gaped at him in surprise. His eyes were strong as he looked at her as he turned the force on the spear. "This time I will fight seriously." Change. In Lee Hae-eun's mind, she thinks she's a genius and I'm special. "I don't need to scratch my skin like others, I can still reach the top," or in other words, it's an extraordinary ability. Genius always overwhelms ordinary people. Honestly, when people honored me as the best hunter in human history, I wasn't proud or satisfied at all. Because that was already obvious. I am, let me be honest. He could only use a light force to overwhelm her, which made her disillusioned into thinking that she was special or something. She asked, "Hasn't he shown his full strength yet?" SeoJoon only now revealed his mind. She was surprised to see him make a move. Rotation. The spear was imbued with the power to turn into gold, and he swung the spear back, causing it to shake throughout the room. She gritted her teeth and used her sword to resist weakly. Overexerting herself, she vomited blood on the spot. What was that? She was surprised and wondered, what was going on? He just turned the spear slightly. He continued to attack, blocking. She just dodged the attack. As soon as she jumped up to avoid the attack, she looked towards him. Eyes widened in surprise. Before her eyes, he was still there. The next second everything seemed to stand still. I just saw his eyes flash yellow and his voice echoed and stabbed. He used the spear to point directly at her. The force was too strong and broke the spear in half. And she flew away, her voice coughing. Kf. The sword flew away, she endured the pain and sat up. His expression seemed like he couldn't believe his eyes. Severe psychological shock, her eyes blurred. Impossible, unreasonable, impossible, this is strange, unreasonable, how is it possible? She gasped, her eyes lifeless. There was no way he was stronger than her, he couldn't be stronger. At this moment, she was still skeptical and asked herself, is there really someone in this world who is more experienced than me? I am the best hunter of mankind. He threw the broken spear far away and said loudly, "This battle is not over yet." She looked up and glared at him, unable to accept this. Haeun quickly stood up and picked up his sword. Shouting loudly, he used all his strength to swing his sword at him. He swung his fist quickly at her. The fist on her cheek made her stagger. After being punched, she got angry and scolded him. "This bastard," she swung her sword at him. The two staff members also panicked when they saw this. "What should we do? Can we stop them?" Considering the current situation, Haeun has a weapon, so he clearly has an advantage over SeoJoon, who is barehanded. Iron socks. He punched her from below the chin, sending her flying upwards. Above all, Haeun Lee still had no intention of giving up. That punch made her stagger, eventually landing on the ground in a state of fatigue. Feeling that he had tortured her enough, he spoke up. Perhaps she didn't know this, but there are actually many people who accept being tortured to strengthen themselves. What are you talking about? Haeun slowly stood up and wiped the blood from his mouth. The stern voice told her, "This life is not easy, they do not have natural talent like her." He continued to talk while watching her make moves towards him, so there is no other way but to practice every day. She was angry, scolded and slashed continuously at him. Damn it, why couldn't she hit him? Why? His face was irritated when he heard what he said, but she knew why. Suddenly around him emitted black energy that scared people. Haeun was surprised to see him like that. Those people didn't care about fighting back or winning. With a frightened face, she slowly looked up at his face. He continued, no matter how much they were tormented every day, what they cared about was how far they had gone, not whether they had won or not. She gasped in unbelievable fear, her body gradually retreating. After. He moved closer and his voice continued to speak, so no matter how many blows he received, those people never fell. She trembled backwards, they advanced slowly step by step, they continued to endure blow after blow, and still stood up from battle to battle. Suddenly he stomped his feet and stopped. Outsiders looking in thought the wind was calm, but in fact the waves were rolling. A genius like her is so scared that her face looks unsightly. The only way to win the seemingly impossible battle is to continue fighting steadfastly. He stood in front of her and said loudly, "That is true genius." Although Haeun is shaken, he is still stubborn and nonsense. How can ordinary people be called geniuses? "I'm the best, you said you were the best hunter in history." He felt that she was still not awake. He clenched his fist. "It was so funny, I just used my bare hands to make her say goodbye. What kind of genius is she?" At this moment, her hand flashed, her eyes looked at her angrily. They were not the ones she trampled and mocked. The power of God. Fly straight towards Haeun. She was still bewildered at this time. The next second that fist cracked her genius dream. Finally the fist stopped right in front of her. But Haeun was so shocked that he was no longer in the mood to fight back. That fist creates incredible power. It was that fist that shattered her genius dream. She slumped to the ground as if she didn't believe in herself. The entire audience stared wide-eyed and open-mouthed. On this side, looking at the TV screen, SeoJoon smiled happily. He asked her how it was. His angry eyes looked at him, opening his eyes wide. Friendly tournament, the referee's voice rang out. The first round of the friendly tournament was won by Kim SeoJoon. "What should I do now?" The voice came out in the silent room, where all three elements were gathered, Jinhyun So, Hyein Cha, and Jinsung Lee. Everyone felt awkward. Finally Jinsung spoke up, telling the truth. "If I were to fight against Kim SeoJoon at the moment, I wouldn't be confident enough to win." Hearing that, everyone would be surprised. Hyein Cha thought to himself, even though he retired a long time ago, he used to be an S-rank hunter and a representative of Gaon, one of the 3 largest academies in Korea. How could he say he didn't think so? Will win? Even Jinhyun So has a headache. I don't want to admit it, but I really feel that way too. Immediately, he imagined SeoJoon's fighting style. Just 3 moves stunned Lee Haeun. This is not the level of a student. Hyein Cha spoke up. In previous raids, he did not reach this level. Jinhyun So said, "It seemed like something happened to Kim SeoJoon afterward." He raised his glasses and continued, "The friendly tournament hasn't ended yet," making Jinsung Lee a bit dissatisfied and raised his voice. "What's the use of saying that now? I can't touch Kim SeoJoon anymore, can't beat him." Jinhyun So gritted his teeth. He was right, we need to accept the truth. There is no way to defeat Kim SeoJoon. But we can also take advantage of that. Quickly, Jinhyun So's attitude changed, surprising everyone. But at the same time, SeoJoon quickly ran away from the reporters. They were making noise behind him. "Mr. Kim SeoJoon, say a few words. There are rumors that you are a student of the Sword Saint, is it true? Do you have any plans after the Hunter exam?" Luckily, SeoJoon used his ability to escape from the dense crowd of people, but they were still annoying, now even raising their cameras to try to catch up with him. "Quickly take pictures, Mr. Kim SeoJoon." He wondered, what's the matter? Why did they block my way? Meanwhile, Jinhyun So was still discussing with his teammates. "I was defeated by Kim SeoJoon, but I wasn't defeated by Dream Academy, right?" He smiled evilly. Moving to the bathroom, SeoJoon was hiding in the bathroom when she turned around in surprise. At that time, she saw SeoJoon walk in, close the bathroom door. She called out, "Mr. SeoJoon," he replied, "I'm back." SeoJoon wondered, "How did you get here? Aren't there a lot of reporters on the road?" "That's why I'm stuck here," SeoJoon said as he walked. "I walked past them. Why are they blocking the way?" "That's it, really annoying." Immediately, she pointed at his phone and said, "Because the whole Korea is turning upside down." SeoJoon then glued his eyes to the phone. The news panel appeared with the content, even if he is a professional hunter. Career, he could not achieve the most divine skill of all time. Kim SeoJoon suddenly disappeared. After reading, he wondered, when did things like this happen? SeoJoon glanced down at the comment section. He was surprised. The comments kept jumping. Each word appeared. Lee Haeun had no relationship with Lee SeoJoon. Was it true? Wasn't Lee Haeun nothing in the end? Okay, that's probably it. Kim SeoJoon is too cruel. Seriously, with this level, calling him a hero-level academy is really no problem. I'm curious about the daily life at school. It's a real dream institute. What are they doing there? I heard that the general manager is the daughter of the Sword Saint. But then, a comment made SeoJoon wonder a bit. There was a rumor that the general manager was a B-level hunter. Quickly, a series of negative comments were posted. "Really? You're a Sword Saint and I'm only at B-level? Ha, isn't that like she's sucking up fame?" Kim SeoJoon. "They found a good student then sucked blood. Wow. Haha, the Sword Saint's niece is just a B-level hunter." SeoJoon was thinking to herself. There are so many comments about Ms. SeoJoon. Then, he looked up. SeoJoon just smiled lightly. She pointed at him and said, "Aside from that, we should think about how to fight the second match. SeoJoon stammered, the second match, that is, SeoJoon replied, yes, there is a list of members participating in the upcoming dungeon raid, he whispered, team fight. Quickly, SeoJoon frantically asked loudly, now that Suyin and Minhyul are in the academy, they can't compete in teams, what should we do? SeoJoon calmly replied, I was about to ask the organizers, but they also got blocked by reporters. I thought it was almost over out there. Meanwhile, outside the bathroom, the reporters worriedly said to each other, we can't do that here. SeoJoon held the door handle, goodbye SeoJoon, I'll be back later, you can rest, Mr. SeoJoon. He also replied, okay, see you later. Ah, so tired, SeoJoon then fell down. He lay slumped on the chair, even sitting was not enough to describe Seo's sagging and tiredness. He blamed himself, it was all because he used divine power at the last minute, he should have knocked him out. It's okay for her. Because I was a bit emotional, I accidentally used it. Now that I think about it, it's not necessary at all. Suddenly, Mentor appeared from nowhere, he glared and announced, Mr. Kim SeoJoon, I'm here. This made SeoJoon jump at the same time. Then Mentor let out a startled sound. When he made SeoJoon throw his chair back in surprise, Mentor scratched his head, hesitantly asked, why are you so surprised? SeoJoon scolded, how could you not be surprised? Receiving his master's anger, Mentor immediately showed his fragile sparkling eyes, forgive me, he tried to act cute, but SeoJoon here didn't think so, even though looking at him now I'll be honest, I'll probably get the same problem next time, that's his habit. Then he sighed, said, leave it, how's everything? Mentor realized. Immediately reported, I asked many teachers for him, to make sure I also asked the principal. SeoJoon below listened while turning over the chair. He continued, everyone said it was impossible and shook their heads. Hearing that, SeoJoon sighed, so it's really impossible. He thought about it, to be fair, how could other fake transcendents not think the same as me? Mentor then slowly flew over, hey, you have to listen to what people have to say first. The principal said that if it was Kim Jae-joon, it would be fine. Immediately, he glanced over, extremely surprised. Is it okay if it's me? What does it mean? SeoJoon asked with some doubts. Mentor also explained, well, the principal only said it was possible. She wasn't sure, because from the beginning she didn't know. It is said that using both the middle and lower dantian at the same time is impossible. SeoJoon wondered aloud again, so why is it only me? Mentor coughed to correct him. He spoke up, from now on, everything I say is conveyed by the principal himself, so this is the principal's opinion. Mentor began, first of all living things can absorb and use a certain amount of mana. Mana is the resource of the essence of life, so it cannot exceed the limit of living beings. The limit of resources that the living being can endure, the limit of cause and effect, can be the middle dantian or the lower dantian, just one of the two is enough. An entity that overcomes this predetermined level of cause and effect will have the ability to decay or disappear into nothingness. However, even if Mr. SeoJoon used both the middle and lower dantian, there was still a possibility that his essence would not decay or disappear. SeoJoon heard it, he was surprised, how could this be like that? Mentor replied that it was because Kim SeoJoon's karma had not been measured. Mr. SeoJoon, no matter what the situation was before, your cause and effect have never been measured. Do you remember what happened last time? There was a time when I didn't have an ID, so I reported it to the principal. SeoJoon realized, Anyway, Mentor gave a high five in conclusion. Because cause and effect cannot be measured, there is no certain limit, so considering retaining the effects of both types of dantian, there is still a possibility that his body will not be dissipated, that's what the principal said himself. She also said that when using two dantian at the same time, there are a few things to keep in mind. Mentor lists, first is to open both at the same time, second is to endure the enormous burden of cause and effect. SeoJoon was a bit surprised, the burden of cause and effect. Mentor replied, if both types of dantian are opened, then of course the amount of mana needed to fill the dantian must also increase, but that number is not simple. It's not doubled, it's increased exponentially. Using that unimaginable amount of power is not impossible, but I heard that simply cultivating cannot make up for it, so the miracle drug elixir is needed to supplement mana. After listening, SeoJoon pursed his lips, thinking worriedly, which simply means, I need to pour a lot of money into this case. And then, SeoJoon turned away, he covered his face, mentally tormented in pain, no way, why am I even more depressed than this, that's why I still have to live in a one-bedroom apartment. Mentor here still hasn't understanding what was going on, he looked at him brightly. Then, Mentor spoke up, this is just my opinion, but I think it's worth a try. SeoJoon then turned. Mentor continued, the principal does not take the word possibility lightly. Since the principal has said so, you can consider this to be possible. A transcendent person was able to use all three dansins. At that time, a halo of light surrounded SeoJoon. Mentor happily said, if this case really succeeds, many unimaginable things will happen. That's what she said, it seems like the principal really expects you. She even said that she has to resign as principal to do it. Mentor chuckled. SeoJoon wondered again, the principal of the Transcension Academy, what kind of person was she? Quickly, Mentor paid attention to his question. He pondered and answered, her identity is hard to say, but if he asked it was to prepare just in case. Immediately, the portrait of the principal of the Transcension Academy appeared. Mentor said, that is a second-class Transcendence fake, I just revealed that. The silhouette of the principal of Transcension Academy appeared. SeoJoon was surprised, transcending the second fake. Mentor replied, yes, didn't I tell you about the history of our academy? SeoJoon said, yes, that's the first time I heard it. Mentor confidently said, no, I can't believe I've never told you such an important and entertaining story, so by the way I'll tell you, our ultimate academy is. Suddenly however, before Mentor finished speaking, someone opened the door. I'm back, it's SeoJoon. When Mentor saw it, he immediately disappeared, making SeoJoon startled as well. She wondered, I just heard you talking to someone, he replied, you must have heard wrong, ha. SeoJoon laughed it off and scratched her head. He returned to the topic, but before he finished talking about the second round, SeoJoon replied, oh that story. Suddenly, a guy interrupted, I'll tell you. It was none other than Jinhyun So. He politely smiled and said, because the meeting had just ended. Jinhyun So then slowly became popular, because this friendly tournament included students, so this was a very important opportunity for the students to fight their best. All the representatives of the academies gathered and held a meeting, and the majority of people agreed and continued with the second round. SeoJoon was worried, but we only had SeoJoon left. He replied, so in the Ring of Thorns, we will change the rules a bit, which surprised both of them. Jinhyun suggested, what do you think if we attack the dungeon with a team consisting of a student and a coach and not just the students? Hearing that, SeoJoon was extremely surprised. He thought, if so, maybe Miss SeoJoon and I would be on the same team. But Miss SeoJoon is only a B rank hunter, the other teams are at least A rank. People have said enough about Miss SeoJoon. If this gap in strength is still exposed then, while thinking about it, SeoJoon suddenly spoke up, so there should be more bonuses. Jinhyun So was surprised, what? Even SeoJoon was surprised, Miss SeoJoon. SeoJoon then spoke up, the original rules of the game were suddenly changed by the opponent like that. Shouldn't we also ask for something more? Hearing this, Jinhyun So suddenly felt awkward, he stammered, then how much do you want? SeoJoon turned to SeoJoon. She smiled warmly and said, don't worry about me, as a director I haven't been able to help you once, let me help you once. And what they said meant nothing to me. Hearing, SeoJoon pursed her lips. He finally spoke, before talking about the bonus, I also have this suggestion. Instead of being a coach, let's put representatives on the teams. Miss SeoJoon is the representative of the Dream Academy, so he doesn't think the representatives of the top 3 academies should also step forward. Jinhyun So just said something but was interrupted by SeoJoon, but if you give us 6 billion won in bonus money first, then no matter what rule you give, we will abide by it, SeoJoon said very confidently. He also teased his opponent, otherwise don't even dream. The words made Jinhyun So's face darken and silent for a while. He grinned dangerously, then. There is no other way. The final second round rule is this, the representative and representative student of the Dream Academy, Hunter Mill, Gown and Ale will team up and attack the dungeon. The dungeon will be divided into Dungeon 1, Dungeon 2, and Dungeon 3. The students enter Dungeon 1. The representatives enter Dungeon 2 and will fight solo there. If the mana stone obtained from each dungeon is placed on the platform, the boss from Dungeon 3 will be summoned, all ending when the student and representative kill that boss together. The team with the fastest total time to clear Dungeons 1 and 2, the time to get the mana stone, and the fastest time to kill the boss in Dungeon 3 will win. SeoJoon held the phone in his hand and said, okay, if plus the 6 billion won I just received. The system panel on the phone screen appeared with the words, do you want to buy this course? SeoJoon quickly clicked the yes button. The system panel then appeared, heartache, fully facing oneself, escaping heavenly magic, coach, sword master Dongbin Liu, fiery power of a dragon, dragon's aura, coach, Siegfried. Suddenly there was a stream of energy spreading from somewhere, like a welcome. The staff from outside suddenly opened the door and announced, "Mr. Kim SeoJoon, are you ready?" SeoJoon turned and replied, "Okay, I'll be right here." After a while, at the experimental yard, SeoJoon finally appeared. He called out, "Miss SeoJoon." SeoJoon over here was standing in front of the gate when she turned around in surprise. Where they were standing was the second round experimental field of the Dream Team. SeoJoon asked, "What are you doing in there alone?" He replied while scratching his head, "Just doing random things, haha." SeoJoon glanced at a 2-slot mana stone bar placed on the table. He thought, will Dungeon 3 open if the stone is placed on it? SeoJoon took a deep breath at this time, as if trying to reassure her. SeoJoon also noticed this small detail. He thought to himself that the fact that Ms. SeoJoon was not as strong as the other representatives could not change anything, but the second round time was not counted separately, but as a whole. SeoJoon was then standing in front of the dungeon gate according to her rank. Me. SeoJoon also got into position. He thought, I have to shorten my time as much as possible to win this second round. I've opened the upper Dantian, but I don't know if I can catch up with the former S-rank hunters. Quickly, the loudspeaker sounds, Dream Hunter Academy, if you're ready, please enter. Hearing that, SeoJoon immediately called out, "Miss SeoJoon," causing her to turn around. He smiled brightly, cheering up SeoJoon's spirit. "See you later." At the same time, SeoJoon also slowly entered. SeoJoon gained motivation. She smiled in response and waved her hand. On the other side of the dungeon gate, SeoJoon was taken to a forest, where soon a mutant wolf appeared. It walked in front of him. Not one, but a group of them, all of them were looking at him with red, hungry eyes. SeoJoon hissed mockingly, "There are so many, then it's too easy for me." At the beginning of the battle, the wolves rushed into SeoJoon from all sides. He calmly held his spear back, smirked and said, "First I'll be gentle." Immediately, 2 sources of energy in different positions of the Dantian appeared. But it suddenly made SeoJoon collapse. He let out a shocked sound. Even though he was still awake, SeoJoon's legs couldn't stand. He stammered, "Wait a minute." Although he still raised his spear, SeoJoon's body was not easy to control. The wolves quickly took advantage of the opportunity to attack collectively. Bang! A huge earthquake occurred in the dungeon. He and the wolves were silent for a moment. What they had in common was that they all looked up to follow the terrifying energy that had just attacked. SeoJoon thought to himself, he missed. Even so, the wolves were also scared by him. They quickly dispersed, running their own separate ways, making SeoJoon look dizzy. Don't run, he shouted loudly. After a while, the mana stone was finally held by SeoJoon. He had killed the monsters. Then, SeoJoon stepped on the corpse of one and spoke up, "Why did they set up these monsters in such detail? If they didn't run, we would have saved more time. Already." Having said that, SeoJoon did not hesitate and left the dungeon intact. But in the lab, he was the only one standing there. SeoJoon wondered if Ms. SeoJoon wasn't done yet. Then quickly, he went to the table with the mana stone in his hand, saying, "I have to quickly put the stone on it to record the time." Before he could put it in, the system beeped, causing SeoJoon to stop. He raised his head in surprise and huffed. SeoJoon wondered, did they also announce the completion time? The system board appeared, Hunter Mill Academy, time to kill Dungeon Boss 3, 12 minutes 1 second. This made SeoJoon wide-eyed in surprise. What the hell? He kept his eyes glued to the notice board, cursing under his breath. At this moment, Hunter Mill Academy's time to clear Dungeon 1 was 30 minutes, and the time to clear Dungeon 2 was 11 minutes. SeoJoon gasped and said loudly in her heart, "I've lost." Kim SeoJoon stood looking at the text on the screen, thinking to himself, "I lost." The time difference between Dungeon 1 and Dungeon 2 was huge. In Dungeon 1, the clear time is 35 minutes 14 seconds, in Dungeon 2 the clearing time is 11 minutes 38 seconds, so the total time is 58 minutes 53 seconds. He seemed a bit confused, sweating profusely. Dungeon 1 was the student's dungeon and Dungeon 2 was the representative, so that was very reasonable. But our side is the opposite. If she placed a rock now, she could absolutely win, but if Miss SeoJoon lost even to a student, she would be severely criticized. But if I wait for her, I will completely lose my chance of winning. Also, Dungeon 2 has a difficulty level of 8 stars, SeoJoon will probably fail. SeoJoon spoke up and said, "Damn, I'm so greedy for money that I can't calmly judge the situation." Suddenly the screen displayed the timetable for defeating the boss of Gaon Academy. He remembered SeoJoon's words, "Don't worry about me. As a director, I haven't been able to help you once, let me help you once." SeoJoon tightened his grip on the stick in his hand until it trembled. Her words rushed back into his head, "And what those people said meant nothing to me. Scene change, SeoJoon knelt, holding the handle of the knife with both hands. She gently lowered her head, surrounded by smoke and fire. She successfully defeated the beast. Suddenly there was a sound that startled SeoJoon. She quickly turned back. In the fire, a monster appeared with its mouth wide open as if it wanted to swallow her. SeoJoon held the knife tightly, preparing to attack it. She pointed the knife straight at the monster. The knife stabbed hard into its body, causing blood to spurt everywhere. Then the monster exploded, sending smoke everywhere. A bright light appeared, making SeoJoon wonder what was going on. The fire burned stronger and stronger. She pulled the knife back, taking a defensive stance. The monster roared loudly, opening its mouth wide and moving towards SeoJoon. She jumped high and used all her strength to kick its body. She thought to herself, I have to do it. Mr. SeoJoon is probably waiting for me outside. Even though I can't be faster than him, I still have to clear this dungeon. The more he fought, the more ferociously the monster fought back. Suddenly SeoJoon stopped. It turned out that the monster had grabbed her ankle. She was a little scared when she saw it was about to bite her leg. SeoJoon decisively slashed the knife into its leg, blood pouring out like a stream. She was suddenly stunned and thought, actually, my skills are not that great. As the granddaughter of the Sword Saint, one of the heroes of the Cataclysm, I was taught by him personally, yet I only have a mediocre B rank. SeoJoon just stood there silently inside the fierce fire. She respects her grandfather very much, but at the same time, she hates him very much for being constantly compared and criticized. Besides, she also hates herself. Suddenly SeoJoon's image appeared. He smiled and said, see you later. SeoJoon had tears in her eyes, but also filled with hope. She told herself, I thought I didn't want to become a hunter. After saying that, she tightly grasped the knife in her hand. Then turned and left the cruel place, leaving the corpses of monsters lying around. SeoJoon walked absent-mindedly, thoughts appearing in her mind. When I just met SeoJoon, I thought both sides would only take advantage of each other. I thought I could use this student to raise the Academy's reputation, but the professional hunter test is coming soon. This tournament will probably end our relationship. This short relationship has come to an end. Even if it's not much, I still want to help SeoJoon a little, as long as I don't get in his way. Even just that. Suddenly a familiar voice spoke, causing her to startle and open her eyes to observe. Phew, it was so difficult. Oh, Miss SeoJoon, you just came out too. The image of SeoJoon smiling brightly and scratching her head appeared. She calmly replied, me too. Her hands were hanging down, unable to hold the stone anymore. She hesitantly said, why did you do that? He quickly replied, oh what, I didn't do anything. He then honestly explained, Miss SeoJoon, it's true that I really need money but not to that extent. I can make money anytime. But a broken heart cannot be healed again. He passed by her and gently said, thank you. Just like that, he left, leaving SeoJoon standing alone. On the path to becoming a professional hunter, on the path to becoming a pseudo-transcendent. SeoJoon doesn't want to go alone but wants to go with people like this. The screen displayed the time of the Dream Academy with a total of 58 minutes and 4 seconds. SeoJoon thought to herself, the total time of the Hunter Mill is 58 minutes and 53 seconds. If you want to win, you must find and defeat the boss within 48 seconds. Suddenly SeoJoon spoke up, Miss SeoJoon, I really want to say this to you. If I were alone, I wouldn't be able to get as far as I am now. He turned back to look at her and smiled, so this time I'm relying on you too. Oh no, I will also rely on you in the future. SeoJoon was so touched that tears flowed down her eyes. Suddenly the ground shook. She wondered, what was going on? SeoJoon continued to say, in truth, you are the only person I can trust. If I faint, please remember to take care of me. Without waiting for her to respond, he quickly left. SeoJoon warned, if I faint, remember to help me. SeoJoon was surprised, what? He walked and thought to himself, there are about 30 seconds left, only 30 seconds. It is impossible to find and defeat the basilisk. Instead, I will suddenly use strong force to impact the dungeon, making this place unable to support it anymore. Immediately, his hand tightly holding the spear radiated strength. Energy began to gather where SeoJoon was standing. Behind was SeoJoon with expectant eyes. He enjoyed plotting, and the dungeon would collapse. Immediately, SeoJoon combined his skills, aura, sword and God's power. Powerful rays of energy transmitted to him. SeoJoon pulled out his phone and observed, silently saying, this is not enough. Immediately, he took out a brand new bottle of medicine from his phone. When he paid, the system informed him that the medicine, priced at 2 billion won, had been purchased. Without thinking, he popped the cap and poured it into his mouth. A great force from SeoJoon's body radiated throughout the dungeon. SeoJoon was also affected by it and shielded herself with her hands. She thought to herself, the air around her was shifting. What kind of energy field is this? SeoJoon was closing his eyes and giving the girl his dantian, the energy located under his belly. At the same time, the middle dantian, the energy that arises in the middle of the chest. Behind him, the figure of Chi Tian Dai Tan appeared. He said, when you use the dodge attack in the combination of dodge, block, and attack, when moving, remember not to go beyond the range of the sword's hilt. He said as he prepared to raise his stick, from inside. Going outside, SeoJoon also held out his spear, along with firepower. Chi Tian instructed, imagining you gently holding the spear in your hand, and swinging it. SeoJoon then quickly performed the steps in the technique, first dodging the attack, he swung the spear straight out. Chi Tian continued, restraining the chaos inside. SeoJoon simultaneously followed his actions and withdrew his hand. He guided again, feeling the force of the blow coming out, feeling like you were forcing it in. At this moment, SeoJoon gathered force at the tip of the spear. SeoJoon then threw a suppressive attack on the ground. Quickly, the ground cracked due to the strong force. Chi Tian summarized, and finally the piercing attack, he posed as a monkey holding a spear. SeoJoon also followed the action. He said, blending your body into the tip of the spear as one. As if, you will penetrate through a point. SeoJoon then closed his eyes to feel the hunch that he told him. Then finally determined the focus. SeoJoon opened his eyes wide, determining the final point to attack. Immediately impact the spear at the middle of the dungeon door. A large stream of light emitted from the tip of the spear. But at the same time, it also caused the tip of the spear to crack under the pressure of the force. Then, the spear's head slowly fell apart. SeoJoon glued his eyes to the tip of the spear. Fragments of the spear tip fluttered and then disappeared. Finally, out in the lobby, where Jinsung Li is. Also Hyein Cha. And Jinhyun So stood, they were extremely surprised while looking up at the notice board. Jinhyun So stuttered softly, it couldn't be. At that time, the content line appeared on the screen, Dream Academy, attack round and the boss attack round, ending after 41 seconds. The more Jinhyun So looked at the board, the more surprised he felt. This is impossible. Overview of the information board. We have Dream Academy, with boss attack time of 41 seconds, Dream Academy, with the first dungeon completion time being 29 minutes and 3 seconds, the second dungeon completion time being 39 minutes and 1 second, for a total completion time of 58 minutes and 45 seconds. On the hospital bed, SeoJoon opened his eyes wide after being in a coma for a while. He immediately sat up and shouted loudly in shock. SeoJoon looked at him next to him and asked a few questions. Are you awake? SeoJoon turned and loudly asked, what's going on? I won, SeoJoon replied softly. She smiled brightly, which made SeoJoon feel relieved and breathe a sigh of relief. SeoJoon then changed the subject. Forget about it. How is your body? Are you sure there's nothing wrong? SeoJoon saw that she was worried, immediately turned her elbow joint to show her, said, ah yes, of course, my body and mind are both very resilient. SeoJoon laughed excitedly. Especially my spirit. It must be said that it is a spirit of steel, so even if I fainted a few times, it wouldn't be a problem. Hearing this, SeoJoon felt more reassured. She smiled but said nothing. Seeing SeoJoon staring at him, he wondered, what's wrong? She immediately spoke up, thanking him, truly. SeoJoon kept a warm smile on her lips, surprising even him. Then, he also grinned. Then politely replied, it's nothing. I have to say thank you. Just in time, a group of reporters rushed in. They jostled each other to get to those two hunters. Stay away, I told you. Go somewhere else. I'll definitely meet Kim SeoJoon this time. The bodyguards quickly intervened. No, Mr. Kim SeoJoon needed to rest. Immediately, the crowd responded. So I checked to see if it was true. I was just checking, you bastard. Besides, we are here to listen to the story through Kim SeoJoon's words. The bodyguard immediately spoke up. If that's the case, why don't you all come to that Dream Academy someday? They argued again. Do you think we're crazy? Who knows what will happen to us if we touch each other? The face of the Holy Sword is there. Immediately, they were noisily trying to ask questions while still being stopped in front of the door. He just needed to say a word about how he collapsed the dungeon. Did he use his own power, or is there any other way to destroy it? What happened inside? At this time, SeoJoon and SeoJoon just silently observed them. One of them brought out a recording device, then said loudly, all three top academies were denying his victory. They said we only lost to Kim SeoJoon personally, not the whole Dream Academy. What do you think about this statement? After hearing that, SeoJoon was stunned. Immediately, he glanced at SeoJoon. The two of them kept a silent atmosphere. Then SeoJoon laughed. He immediately said, "I'm just a student of the Dream Academy. Besides, there was nothing I could do." SeoJoon acted very honestly. He shrugged his shoulders as if denying responsibility. Then, pointing to SeoJoon, she said, "I'm just following what the principal said." Seeing that SeoJoon told me something untrue, she immediately turned around when she accidentally said something. "Yes, huh?" Quickly, SeoJoon wondered, asking in a trembling voice, "Mr. SeoJoon, what are you doing?" Only then did the reporters become silent. They turned their eyes to look at SeoJoon. And as expected, she is the next victim of this unexpected interview. "What do you think about your academy about to become the best academy in Korea? Are there any training methods? Did you specially teach SeoJoon?" Their enthusiasm made SeoJoon extremely panicked. And SeoJoon over here was smiling from ear to ear, while the powerful reporters all said, "Look here, as the head of the academy, I hope you will spare a few words for the potential students who want to become human. Just like Mr. SeoJoon." At that time, SeoJoon didn't have any space to act. She just weakly raised her hand to stop her and said, "Wait, I'm sorry, but the conversation was completely taken over by them. Do you have any advice on what to do to become a singer? Professional hunter?" SeoJoon also suffered from vestibular dizziness, but she still stammered in tension, "No, no." At that time, SeoJoon's voice echoed in the hospital room, "Mr. SeoJoon," she angrily called out, while the guy on this side was still very alert and replied, "If you have any questions, please contact our principal." Immediately after the interview, a video analysis of SeoJoon was posted on social networks. A secret person of the clip spoke up, "Hello dear friends, today Faithful TV will reveal an amazing truth. We will talk about the truth behind Kim SeoJoon and Dream Academy. This is the topic." Hot topic recently. With the participation of the Dream Academy, including Kim SeoJoon, this friendly tournament has attracted nationwide attention. Not only did he defeat Lee Hae-eun, a great talent in the history of professional hunters, he also blew up the dungeon. Quickly, the scene changed to the comments section of a news report. Many opinions could be seen. Also seemed extremely surprised. They said Lee Hae-eun lost. Really? The clip owner continued. When the news broke out, not only the Hunter forum but on every page were filled with heated discussions about this. The story is truly unbelievable. If we call this a war of the gods, it wouldn't be an exaggeration. At this point, even calling him a hero instead of a hero-level student would be nothing. It's up for debate, but even though Kim SeoJoon is really great, the story still hasn't been proven right. Now let's end the argument. Immediately, the screen showed SeoJoon's portrait. That person said, "The secret lies with the principal of the Dream Academy. She is the granddaughter of the Sword Saint." The second round was a coordinated raid between the students and the principal, so in other words, it could only happen when Kim SeoJoon and the principal matched their swords, not just him. At the end of the video, that person raised his index finger, saying, "Please like, subscribe and turn on notifications for our channel." Scrolling through the comments section, everyone was finally satisfied with the real witness. "Oh my god, finally everything was perfect. Mom, I want to join the Dream Academy. The Sword Saint can beat me to death." The light bulb suddenly broke, so I had to temporarily use Kim SeoJoon's picture, so I called it SeoJoon lamp, resulting in the room being too bright. SeoJoon over here scrolled through the comment section of the clip and smiled happily. "SeoJoon. Miss SeoJoon is the light." The reason he said that was because SeoJoon was also the one in his eyes, or in other words, SeoJoon was the one who awarded him 6 billion in shares. SeoJoon thought while walking on the sidewalk in a refreshing way, "I should go back to the academy and absorb the rest of the magic medicine." Suddenly, a strange girl appeared in front of SeoJoon. She wore a hat that obscured her face, surprising SeoJoon. "Look closely, is it Lee Hae-eun?" she asked. "Let's talk a little." SeoJoon didn't care much. He quickly left. "Sorry, I'm busy." SeoJoon then looked bored, yawning loudly, making Hae-eun feel despised. She froze. Wait, Hae-eun shouted loudly in the night sky. Finally, Hae-eun also faced him. She now looked confused and guilty. As for SeoJoon, she didn't want to say anything. Both people just stood there facing each other. No one said a word. People were walking back and forth more normally than ever. SeoJoon was fed up with this silent scene. He turned away and threatened, "If you don't talk, I'll leave." Hae-eun quickly raised his voice, "Sword Saint." There were rumors that he was a disciple of the Sword Saint. After hearing that, SeoJoon turned back with a surprised look. He said, "If I am truly a disciple of the Sword Saint, then I have to use the sword. Why use spears?" Hae-eun realized the mistake. She immediately became speechless. SeoJoon continued, "What the hell, you didn't think of it?" Haeun was skeptical of life. She thought to herself, it was right to think like that. Then the Sword Saint. Waiting for Haeun to think too slowly, SeoJoon finally turned around and left. It's over, right? So I'm leaving. Again, Haeun held him back. Slowly. She followed behind him, constantly asking questions, so he didn't learn anything from the Sword Saint. What do they normally teach at the Dream Academy? After listening, SeoJoon felt something was wrong. As expected, she kept asking questions. Were there any specific training methods? What do you usually eat? Were there any other students? SeoJoon himself was also annoyed by the meaningless questions. What a bother. After saying that, he immediately flew into the air in front of Haeun's surprised witness. In just a few moves like a flash of lightning, SeoJoon ran far away from that place. He turned around, looked back and was a bit surprised. Haeun still stubbornly refused to give up. She even called out, waiting for me. This really surprised him a bit. Not only did she follow him, but she also almost caught up with him. SeoJoon must have been a great talent, so SeoJoon suddenly stopped, causing Haeun, who was chasing behind, to suddenly hit his back, causing her to fall backwards. SeoJoon not only didn't ask, but also scolded, "Oh my god, you really know how to make people angry. What else are you curious about?" Immediately, SeoJoon asked about psychological blows. She wanted to justify the reason she lost to me, didn't she? She was about to bring up the holy sword as an excuse, but it was completely different. Haeun just stammered and said, "No. I'm just curious." Hearing these kind words from the mouth of that once arrogant person made SeoJoon confused. What's going on? He also asked silently. Before she seemed colder and more arrogant, Haeun then brought his face closer. She spoke. Where is your principal? You two are not together. Each other? SeoJoon wondered. Miss SeoJoon, what are you looking for her for? Haeun hesitated. I have something to tell her. SeoJoon didn't hesitate to say, if she wanted to find Miss SeoJoon, she said she had work to do, so she went first, so I didn't know where she was. Hearing that, Haeun could only be stunned. SeoJoon turned around and left again, not forgetting to give her a warning glance. So don't follow me anymore. If you still follow, the murderous aura he radiated would have made Haeun know something in advance. Although she still had things to be curious about, SeoJoon finally walked away. He thought to himself, thinking back after the friendly tournament, I didn't know where Miss SeoJoon was going in such a hurry. Then, the image of SeoJoon before leaving appeared in his eyes. SeoJoon scratched his head, thinking, maybe I'll see her again when training at the academy. In the temple, the Sword Saint. SeoJoon was kneeling before Minchul. She was praying to him. Minchul asked, why did you suddenly come here? SeoJoon boldly said, I want to hold a sword again. Hearing that, Minchul turned and looked surprised. Mr. Seo standing next to her also became surprised. This was not the first time Miss SeoJoon asked to hold the sword herself. Minchul asked, what is the reason? SeoJoon replied with determination, I want to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. He was surprised. Are you talking about that boy? Minchul's voice started to lower, like a warning. Do you mean you want to give up your dream to follow that kid and become a professional hunter? She immediately answered, no. I don't give up my dream. Going back to the memory, when SeoJoon held the phone in his hand, he said, what? I don't dream of becoming a professional hunter. The words surprised SeoJoon. Aren't you training and earning this money to become a professional hunter? He replied, yes, but being a professional hunter is not my dream. SeoJoon was a bit confused. What do you mean? SeoJoon replied, someone once told me like this. It's hard to say who it is, but she's familiar with it. After listening, SeoJoon was a little confused. Then, SeoJoon somehow narrated, that person once said this, dream is a verb, on the contrary, career is a noun. So her career cannot become her dream. And being a professional hunter is not my dream either. Having said that, SeoJoon smiled brightly. Returning to the present time, SeoJoon spoke up, I want to go another path. She held tightly to the fabric of her pants, silently thinking, dream is a verb. Then again, SeoJoon courageously assured, she wanted to hold a sword again. This caused Minchul to look at her with serious eyes. SeoJoon opened his pocket. Now he's penniless. When he bought the spiritual medicine, it cost 2 billion won. I remember when he was destroying the dungeon, the potion he bought cost 2 billion won. At that time, I thought the cost would only double at most, but no, it wasn't doubled but tripled. The notification system, the magic potion cost 6 billion won. After observing the notification bar, SeoJoon was startled, really shaken. I can only sit alone and sulk. Where can I get so much money? Suddenly, SeoJoon turned around and let out a surprised sound. Then he wondered, does he always have to appear this way? Black Saint, Yes, the person who appeared at this time was Black Saint. He said, every time I met him, I couldn't help but be surprised. Even that group of Justice Church didn't even notice me appearing here. How could he detect me every time? SeoJoon replied, I just felt it. He said, I guess it's because I'm getting old, so my strength is no longer the same as before. SeoJoon wondered, what's going on? How is the job of monitoring the Justice Church? He replied, I have something to tell you about that. But before speaking, is that guy okay? He coughed a few times. SeoJoon replied, I heard that he wasn't seriously injured, so he was discharged from the hospital, meaning his match didn't seem to go well. Very. The Black Saint immediately clicked his tongue. Well, that idiot, he said he only used one weapon. SeoJoon shrugged and replied, after all, he has his own fighting style. After that, the Black Saint gave him some books. He said, give this to him. I wrote down a few things so that next time he won't be defeated so miserably so easily. Later I will give you the 3 billion I promised. Hearing that, SeoJoon was surprised. He spoke up, by the way, did you know that the disciple of the Holy Dharma is also at the Dream Academy? Black Saint, he was a bit surprised. The disciple of the Holy Dharma, are you talking about young Jimin? She is here. He immediately frowned. No, besides Jimin, he had accepted another new disciple. Black Saint was surprised. A new disciple. SeoJoon continued, you know, he gave me 10 billion to take care of his disciple. Hearing that, the Black Saint also became surprised and silent. Immediately, SeoJoon acted like a beautiful young woman and explained in one go. I told him the Holy Dharma about him and the fact that his disciple was also at the Dream Academy, and I also told him the truth about our love. Pictures and the close relationship between me and him gave him. After listening to the story, he asked me how I could have only 3 billion, then without hesitation gave me 10 billion, even though I kept saying I couldn't receive it, but he still forced me to accept that 10 billion, and at that time I thought it would be rude if I continued. I refused him like that, so I accepted the 10 billion. After hearing SeoJoon's peace story, the Black Saint also became incurable. He wondered, what do you mean? SeoJoon then quickly replied to me, when he entrusted his disciple to me, the Dharma Saint gave me 10 billion. The above story caused the Black Saint to turn off the chat mic. SeoJoon took over the conversation again. By the way, don't worry too much, I just said that to let you know, that's 10 billion, do you know? Black Saint then remained silent. Suddenly, a voice appeared from nowhere, what is going on here? In front of the two of them was Minchul. Black Saint thought to himself, Sword Saint, he immediately asked, what the hell are you doing here? Black Saint, Minchul called his name once. At this moment, Minchul suddenly approached with murderous intent. He shouted angrily, I asked what are you doing here? The Black Saint also had murderous intent at the same time, don't you think I came here to have something to deal with him? SeoJoon immediately interjected, apologizing. Can you two stop arguing? Even though SeoJoon said so, but everyone said, Sword Saint said, he took advantage of the Justice Association to betray us and still speaks so loudly. Black Saint. It is not incompetent to retaliate, it is not a betrayal but a warning, you are the one who does not listen or believe my words. Both of them were emitting a very strong aura at this time. SeoJoon stood there calmly and reassuringly. I guess the two really wanted to fight, but please, could we go somewhere else and fight? Again, none of them heard a word that SeoJoon said. Arguing again, Minchul said, what a warning, after betraying us, you can only point out that excuse to defend yourself. Okay, Black Saint said, then how did things turn out? Weren't you tricked by the Justice Church? In return for you, Minchul immediately shouted, shut up. SeoJoon outside could only sigh. No way, he said, then raised his leg. Then he kicked the ground hard. This created a stronger aura than ever, it suppressed both of their auras. This surprised Minchul and the Black Saint. SeoJoon then breathed a sigh of relief. Ha, the two of them finally stopped. The two old men had the same thoughts in their heads, arguing with him. How could he become so strong in such a short period of time? SeoJoon looked annoyed, saying, if you watch it, you too will almost collapse this building. He then left no one behind and immediately turned to scold the Black Saint. Minchul, do you know what to do if this academy collapses? Are you planning on throwing him up the mountain again? Then SeoJoon turned to scold Minchul, you too, Sword Saint, if you destroy this academy, how do you plan to say it when you meet SeoJoon again in the future? SeoJoon put his hands on his hands, summing up, I don't know what happened between the two of you, but if you want to fight, please go somewhere else. Both of them just let out a sigh, then turned their backs on each other as if sulking. Angry. SeoJoon was also made to sigh by this stubborn scene. Anyway, let me continue talking. He turned to the Black Saint, wondering, Black Saint, don't you have something to say to me? He replied, staying any longer won't be of any use, so I'll get straight to the point. Black Saint said, it seems the Church of Justice is plotting something related to the great beast Berserk. After hearing this, both of them widened their eyes in surprise. Is that the great monster Berserk? SeoJoon wondered. The Black Saint continued, nothing was certain yet, but the apostles had already begun to act. Minchul spoke up, do you think it is too much to speculate from the clan's actions that the great beast Berserk was born? The Black Saint replied, didn't I just say that there is still something uncertain? He continued, anyway, from now on, I will investigate thoroughly, so can you help me? The Black Saint looked at SeoJoon, he was surprised, what, do you want me to help? He said, I told you last time, I still can't do it alone. Black Saint said, according to what we have found so far, those bastards repeatedly performed those dangerous experiments targeting certain dungeons. Black Saint then secretly peeped using stealth magic. Image. He continued, you just need to investigate those dungeons. SeoJoon didn't seem very confident, he said, but I'm still a student, not every dungeon I can enter. The Black Saint replied, aren't you about to take the exam to select a professional hunter? After taking the exam, you can enter any dungeon. Hearing this, SeoJoon also understood a bit. The Black Saint asked again, you will help me, right? SeoJoon replied. Then, before he finished speaking, Minchul interjected, why did you ask him like that? The Black Saint turned away and said, because he is the only one capable of doing that. Minchul frowned, what are you talking about? Hak Tan glanced over and replied hatefully, even if I said it, you clearly wouldn't believe me like last time, so do I need to tell you? Hearing that the Black Saint intended to sue him, Minchul pursed his lips in indignation. Seeing that the two men began to exude murderous aura and were even eyeballing each other, SeoJoon intervened again, wait, you two want to fight again, this time please go out. The two then clicked their tongues a second time, causing SeoJoon's mood to drop. He thought uncomfortably, he's already old. Then, SeoJoon turned to Minchul, he asked, forget it, why are you here, Sword Saint? Ah, you must be looking for SeoJoon, right? She said she had something to do so she left first. I don't know where she went. When talking about SeoJoon, he thought of his niece saying, I want to be able to hold a sword again. Then he angrily whispered, what's so funny about this kid? Seeing Minchul's hateful eyes, he asked in confusion, why are you looking at me like that? Suddenly, there was some noise in the distance. Immediately, Minchul ran out quickly. SeoJoon then glanced over and was suddenly surprised again. Someone's heel stepped out. As a girl, she collapsed from fatigue. SeoJoon looked closely, then groaned again. Lee Hae-eun, he wondered and called the girl's name. Yes, she was the hidden Hae-eun. She was in an extremely miserable state. I'm Lee Hae-eun, that's right, Ultimate Academy. By chance, it was a real coincidence, I was walking and suddenly walked towards the Dream Academy without realizing it. I felt a large amount of energy radiating from there, so I decided to take a look. In front of Hae-eun, Minchul, with an extremely threatening appearance, asked who she was. This made the fragile and weak Hae-eun cower, her face turned pale and she trembled. Returning, the Black Saint asked, do you know who this person is? SeoJoon immediately denied, bowed, he didn't know anything, he could throw her out on the street. Hearing SeoJoon's ungrateful words, Hae-eun said loudly, wait. Black Saint wondered if he would do it or not. SeoJoon replied uncomfortably, of course he would. Black Saint said, so after the professional hunter selection exam, before he could finish speaking, SeoJoon happily interrupted, he will take care of the money, right? Black Saint said again, I thought you wouldn't talk about money. Nong, how much do you want? The two talked excitedly, only Hae-eun was the background, making them feel so depressed. SeoJoon immediately paid the price. If so, the price would increase. After hearing that, Hae-eun felt a bit dazed. She wondered, what's going on? Is he asking for money? Is it also Black Saint's money? Oh my god. Black Saint then also accepted the deal. That's 10 billion won. What if I said it at the beginning? Hae-eun shouted silently, how could that be? SeoJoon held out his hand. Okay, if it's 10 billion won, the Black Saint immediately said, then soon, I will prepare that amount of money for you. SeoJoon held the books in hand, speaking in an industrial tone, and of course the 3 billion won cost to take care of the kid was calculated separately, right? So the total is 13 billion won, right? Black Saint, every time I also have the feeling that I don't know if your conscience is really for others. He continued, let me ask again, do you really need money more than my magic? If you want, I can also personally teach you instead of just giving you magic, SeoJoon breathed. Long, I told you I didn't need it. Hae-eun heard everything. She immediately became angry. He refused to become a disciple of a hero, ha. Minchul also spoke behind him, how useless he was that he only asked for money and nothing else from him. Hearing that, Black Saint became angry, he thought he was different. No. But thinking back, Minchul also had a similar situation last time. Once again, both of them started emitting murderous aura, causing SeoJoon to stop. Ah, I told you to get out if you're fighting. Haeun over here is watching everything, she thought to herself, who was I kidding? The Black Saint said, then I will come find you after the professional hunter selection exam. Immediately, smoke rose around him. The Black Saint at the same time instructed, I will also send you divine magic. SeoJoon then happily said goodbye to the Black Saint by replying, yes of course, my customer, please don't forget the deposit in advance. Haeun in the back still hasn't recovered.